that she's still with us. Queenie was an integral part of our program. Since arriving after graduating college, when she was hired as an editorial assistant by Dr. Gianpiero Palermo. From early on in her career, we recognized her eagerness to learn and pursue the mysteries of human reproduction. She evolved from an editorial assistant to an independent scientist while working, completed a master's degree in science, became the manager of the andrology lab, and ultimately received a PhD from Monash University with Alan Trounsend. Of course, it was all under the supervision of Dr. Palermo, and her thesis was on reproducing spermatogenesis. To quote Dr. Trounsend, her research identified human spermatogenic stem cells which were transplanted into recipient gonads, enabling them to complete spermatogenesis. The research was aimed at developing a therapeutic treatment to produce sperm for infertile individuals who do not have mature sperm in their testes. Queenie's pursuit of excellence, her collaborative personality, and her enabling nature served as an example to all of us. Indeed, every morning when I come out of the elevator on the 7th floor and walk by the andrology lab, Queenie's presence is always on my mind. I miss her sunny disposition, her smile, her eternal optimism. I think of her courageous nature and her selflessness during her difficult fight with leukemia. I remember that even when visiting her in the hospital, she always thought of the impact of her illness on her visitors, rather than on her suffering and treatments. Queenie was the kind of person who we all aspire to be in both our personal and professional lives. Her impact on everyone in the program continues to be palpable. Although she may not be here with us physically, she continues to be with us in spirit. Today we are here to celebrate Queenie's life, her accomplishments, and her contribution to our center. It is only befitting that we honor Queenie with the naming of a Research Scholar Award, which will forever recognize her legacy. It is my great honor to announce that we have established the Queenie Neri Research Scholar Award in perpetuity. I know that her legacy will live on through the work of the scientists who are and will be bestowed with this honor. It is my pleasure to announce as well today that the first recipient of this award is Dale James, who is an assistant professor of stem cell biology and obstetrics and gynecology, an assistant professor of stem cell biology and reproductive medicine, and director of reproductive endocrinology lab at the Center for Reproductive Medicine. Dalen's achievements in the area of stem cell research, fertility preservation, and endocrinology make him a most deserving recipient of this award. At this point, I would like Dalen to come up to the podium, and in recognition of his outstanding scientific accomplishment and in memory of Queenie Neri, we'll present him this plaque as the first recipient of the Queenie Neri PhD Research Scholar Award in Reproductive Medicine.
First, I'd just like to say this is a tremendous honor, and I'd like to thank, of course, the award committee, people who founded this award, and of course the family for joining us today to celebrate Queenie, her life, her contributions. I just have a few words to say, thinking about what would be a proper testament to Queenie, thinking about medicine. I was thinking about how we always think of saving lives when we think of medicine, and it makes sense. You know, we fight desperately to save the lives of the people that are dear to us. In Queenie's case, tragically, we lost that fight. but I think it's important to remember what Queenie dedicated her life to, and that was not saving lives as much as making lives through reproductive medicine and fertility. And she dedicated her life to it, the majority of her life to it. And it was clear for me, soon after joining the group, how integral she was, because it seemed like nothing could be done without Queenie's name dropping into the bowl. She did really everything. Spent most of her days, most of her nights, it seemed like all of her time here. And it was out of her single-minded dedication, not just to her patients, but I think it was clear in her choice moving on to pursue her master's and then her PhD, that her dedication and devotion was really to the craft and really making an important contribution. I know that part of her research focus was fertility preservation for young men, freezing testicular tissue so that young men who are afflicted by cancer could, once they've survived the cancer, beaten it, hopefully, that they could spare their gametes, the toxic effect of the cancer treatment, so that when they grew up, they could then share in that singular joy of starting a family of their own that Queenie dedicated her life to. The work that we're doing in her name is essentially the same thing, except in women, young women and girls who are afflicted with cancer, either preserving the tissue, freezing their ovarian tissue, or even masking their ovaries so that the cancer drugs that are meant to cure them don't also rob them of their fertility. And this is important, I think, and it would have been important to Queenie, because although we lost her, there's thousands of other women who are in the fight for their lives, and I really am honored to accept this award in her name and to carry on and help assist the research in her name. And I think that Queenie would really be pleased with the idea that this award and this work done in her name is aimed at giving these women a chance to make lives like she did for most of her life, her too short life. So that's what we're going to do with the award, and I think it's fitting that her name be attached to it.
At this point, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Giampiero Palermo, who is the Blavatnik Family Professor of Reproductive Medicine, who mentored Queenie throughout her career, a career which exemplifies the essence of true mentorship. Dr. Palermo will share with us some personal and professional aspects of Queenie's life and career. Giampiero.
Thank you, Dr. Rosenberg. I'll be very brief. Today is a very special day for me. We're celebrating the legacy of a very important member of our team, Queenie Neri. Queenie has been very dear to me and to the andrology and AXC team. Since our first interview to the position at Cornell, I noticed immediately her exuberance, enthusiasm, and the work ethics. During the 17 years that I worked with Queenie, I learned a lot from her constant positive attitude. Queenie has been very dedicated to her work, and yet always generous and unselfish. While she was able to work with people of all kinds and all backgrounds, such as with older people like me, like Dr. Bedford, who we lost a few weeks ago, and Dr. Rosenberg. She was also able to interact easily with 5-year-old children when working on the ICSI follow-up studies, and was capable of convincing them even to provide a blood sample. I feel a positive influence every day that I come to work. I believe due to the fact that she loved to work here at Cornell. That positivity and excitement in our immediate work environment has remained, and I credit that to her memory. I especially would like to thank Dr. Rosenberg for tremendously contributed to Queenie legacy. I know that Queenie was always very appreciative of Dr. Rosenweis, but at the same time, very critical of me. I remember when she was in the hospital, when Dr. Rosenweis and I went to visit her. I entered her room first, and Queenie immediately pointed out that I had the ink mark on my coat. She said, "What are you doing? Look at you." Then, a few instants later, upon his entrance into the room, Dr. Rosenweis received a warm welcome. Indeed, Queenie said, "Oh, Dr. Rosenweis, you look so beautiful tonight." So as you can tell, Queenie's sense of humor and good nature never waned. I personally thank all of you here for joining this celebration in Queenie honor. And thank you, Queenie. I will share with the family a PhD that I got from Monash University. This is for you. Monash University. We're very proud of that.
So this is the PhD certificate from Monash University that was bestowed and posthumously, because Queenie had finished her work, completed her PhD, and unfortunately she died prematurely and actually did not live to see it, but at least the family can appreciate all the hard work and wonderful thing that she's done and her amazing contribution to the Center for Reproductive Medicine. And it's only fitting that we name the first Research Scholar Award on Queenie's name. So at this point, we have dinner being served, so everybody should partake of the food and drinks, and thank you so much, all of you, for coming. We really very much appreciate it, as does the family. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have some copy of the thesis, of Queenie's thesis, to share. If I don't think they are enough for everybody, but if you just give me your email, I will send you a copy. Okay, it's nice to share.
Very good. Thank you very much.